Welcome to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil, the official Monster Jam podcast. I'm Scott Jordan, and today we're going to dive into our 2024 series previews, and we're going to start with Arena Championship Series West. So right now, let's go to the Great Clips hotline all the way to Utah to welcome in Dalton, Widner, and Devin, Winfield from Team Throttle Monster. Gentlemen, welcome to Inside Monster Jam. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's cool to be on here. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's good to see you, Devin. It's been a while since I've seen you. Dalton, I did a couple events with you this year. Devin, last time I saw you was in, I believe, at King's Dominion, where I went out there to do a Q&A with the Andersons. You were out there driving the ride truck, man. So it's really good to see you, and I'm excited for your opportunity here. So we're gonna dive into that. But first, let's get our viewers to get to know you guys. Dalton, you've been around the sport for a few years, as have you, Devin. But Dalton, you've been in the spotlight a little more recently. You had a strong finish on your series last year. Let's talk about how somebody goes from playing college football to driving a Monster Jam truck.
From the time that I was like 4 years old, I knew that I wanted to drive a monster truck one day. Saw Tom Mintz on TV and all the other guys just tearing it up out there, and that's what really sparked my interest in it, and I was obsessed with it. You know, I loved anything and everything with a motor. You know, my parents, they were taking me to, drag racing events before I was even born. And I started out, I think when I was like 14 years old, I started volunteering for teams in the immediate area that I was in. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, so used to do an event in the Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Started out there. I was volunteering for teams, pumping fuel, putting tires on, doing anything that I possibly could for about 5 years. So I went from when I was 14 to 19, I was just volunteering for teams and trying to figure out a way to get into this, trying to fight my way up the ladder because I didn't have any family in this. I didn't have anybody that, kind of paved the way for me or gave me anything. I had to fight and claw and do anything I could to get to where I wanted to be. Played football in high school, and then finally got to play Division I football for the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Played there for about a year and a half, and I was like, man, it's time to chase my dream. I've got an opportunity in front of me, so I left. Started doing monster trucks full time and worked for a couple different teams, then finally landed with Team Throttle Monster in I think August of 21. And they gave me an opportunity to actually really drive, and I kind of just let go and do what I feel is do what I feel like I want to do when I go out there and drive. Not really have to worry about anything. Just go drive the truck, have fun, and win. And it's been off to the races ever since.
Yeah, you've done a lot of winning, and it's crazy the rise that you've had in Monster Jam. I know you still kind of fly under the radar a little bit, but you, any given night on that series, going up against Weston Anderson or Armando Castro, you were there winning the events. It's been amazing to watch that, and I appreciate the work ethic you've put in. On Devin, we're going to switch over to you because you have a different path in Monster Jam. You actually worked for Monster Jam, and you've been almost a Swiss Army knife. Almost anywhere that we've needed you, you've been there. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, I saw you driving a ride truck out in Virginia at Thunder Alley. So how did you go from doing that, being a tech official, safety official, being here, and transferring all the way out to Utah with Team Throttle Monster? How did that come about?
It's been a crazy ride for sure. I actually grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and growing up there, my parents, there's not a whole lot to do there for kids. So every year when World Finals used to come to Vegas, they would take me, and that was the one thing we did every year. So from a very young age, I was at every single World Finals, and I kept going every year. And I knew that's what I wanted to do from a young age, and kept going every year and asking questions and meeting people. And eventually, when I turned 18, I know that Cody Saucier used to be a tech official, and I was like, you know what, maybe if I can't drive, I'll be a tech official. So I thought it was cool. I just got to go on tour and be a tech official and set up the Monster Jam events, and it was a lot of fun. I got to travel and see the world, and one day I was just like, you know what, I know I can do more. And so I sent an email out and wanted to drive, and at the time I didn't even know they were building the ride trucks, but I got an email back saying, hey, if you want to come and get your foot in the door a little more, you can come and drive these ride trucks for us at these theme parks for a couple months. So I went out there and did that, and that was a really awesome start to be able to experience driving something that big, because I've never done it before. It kind of gave me a feeling for what rear steering felt like, and to drive a vehicle that big. And eventually after that, I wanted to drive, and then we ended up having the pandemic hit, and I was kind of searching for a team, and I wanted to be back in the game, and eventually I ended up landing with Team Throttle Monster, and it's it's been a dream ever since, and I love being here. And coming from a tech official, I understand like the way trucks work, and I got to kind of inspect them and see how the trucks work up close every single weekend. It was like a free study session, if you will. So it's kind of a different path, but I know if Cody Associate could do it, he was kind of who I looked up to, and Tom Mance, then I can do it.
Well, I will say it was the smoothest ride truck I've ever been on in my life. So you're doing something right over there. Coming up next, we're going to talk all about Team Throttle Monster with Devin, Winfield, and Dalton Widner. Stay right where you are. More Inside Monster Jam is coming up. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. I'm Scott Jordan. This week, I am joined by Team Throttle Monsters Devin Winfield and Dalton Widner as we preview Arena Championship Series West. Let's talk about expectations for Team Throttle Monster as it stands right now. Besides you two, and of course, Dalton, we have you back in Jurassic Attack, and Devin, you are driving Earthshaker, but the possibility of maybe 2 other trucks with Team Throttle Monster on this series. So is there anything you can speak to about that?
Well, the rumors are true. We're going to have 4 trucks on one arena tour. We're going to have my team and Devin's team. And actually, Devin's not driving Earthshaker.
Well, that's news to me, too. All right. That's news to me as well. So
Velociraptor.
Great. All right.
Blue and green Velociraptor. We're going to have Berto Trevino. He's going to be in, well, actually, we don't know exactly what identity he's going to be in yet, so I won't say that. But he's going to be in another Monster Jam identity. And then a guy named James Calhoun is going to be driving Earthshaker.
Okay. All right. So there you go. So as always in Monster Jam, card is subject to change, trucks and drivers as well. So we're all learning things here as we go. It's a big opportunity for you, Devin, to come in here, your first championship series. You're going to be a rookie. You got this guy next to you who sort of mentored Hunter last year, and now he fills that same role with you. So what are your expectations as a rookie in your first championship series?
First of all, to just go out there and have fun. It's a blessing to be able to go out here and compete on the West Coast. We're going to be on the West Coast. I'm from the West Coast. So for me, it's a total dream come true for my first series to just be put in the West Coast tour. And having Dalton by my side, he's been like a teacher to me for, since I got here. He's been amazing to me, and he taught me a lot already. So going to try putting some points on the board.
And Dalton, are you surprised by this mentorship role that you have to fill it all? Because you're still very young in your career as well. You're only coming off a couple years in this business, and now you find yourself in a spot where Team Throttle Monster is relying on you to sort of show the way to these other drivers. So how do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's hard to describe because I feel like I kind of matured in this sport like really fast. I had no choice but to. When I got here at Team Throttle Monster, I started out in 2021. I was with another guy, and I was driving a couple different trucks, actually. I was driving one of Zach Jensen's trucks. I was driving actually the same truck that Hunter drove last year. And then I finally ended up in mine. And then I went and got my CDL, and they needed somebody to run a team. I had never done that before. I had never been the one guy that does anything and everything. And when that got laid in my lap, it kind of instantly matured me in the sport. Anything that I didn't know, I figured it out like that. I had no choice but to. I was the only one driving the rig. I had a crew guy with me who was still learning. He didn't really know a whole lot. So a lot of it fell on my shoulders whenever I had that first year here. So that's helped me out a lot. And then, yeah, and you're right. Yeah, I'm still very young. I'm only 23. But it's, I don't know. I really enjoy it. It makes me feel really good to be able to mentor people and things like that, because in other areas of monster trucks, I didn't really have a whole lot of people that were like super keen to spend time and show me anything and everything I wanted to know. A lot of it was just, well, here's this big project, go figure it out. And that's kind of most of the way that I learned when I first started. When I first started full time, it was, here's the biggest project on the board today, you go figure it out. So I'm glad that I can, show the ropes to some people. It makes me really happy to be somebody that can assist people on their way up.
So you obviously have more responsibilities, both of you, than just showing up and driving, correct? I mean, what else are you going to be doing out there besides driving the rig, besides running this team? What are your responsibilities on a day-to-day basis besides actually performing in the show and trying to compete for a championship?
I mean, for me, it's a little bit different because I'm kind of being the big, like the kind of the manager of the four trucks. But I mean, me and him both, we do everything. We work on the trucks during or before, during, and after the show. We're on the road 24/7. We drive the rigs. We drive our own trucks. We do everything. But I mean, for me, it's a little bit more of a responsibility role. I'm the one who makes the calls to the bosses and tells them, hey, we broke X, Y, and Z. We need these to this next place. So I figure out, the logistics of where we're going, when we're going to get there, where we're going to work through the week. I mean, stuff like that. Sometimes I'm helping ship parts in and out, order stuff. If I'm doing anything and everything I possibly can. But we both do it all. When it comes to those shows, anything that happens to those trucks, it's our problem just as much as it is anybody else on the team. We help everybody. It's driving the rig, driving the trucks, working on them before, during, and after the show. It's late nights, it's everything, but we wouldn't have any other way.
But Devin, don't break too much in your rookie season, man. Fix
Yeah.
all that. Coming up next, we are going to break down the lineup on Arena Championship Series West. We'll be right back with more Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. This week, we're talking Arena Championship Series West in 2024 with Devin, Winfield, and Dalton, Widner. Before we get to the drivers you're going to compete against, let's talk about two former teammates of yours. Actually, I don't know if they are former teammates or still your teammates, but I do see Bailey Shea and Hunter Souza's name missing from my latest lineup. So can you talk a little bit about what they're up to, where they might be going, or if you don't know, that's fine too.
Yeah, Hunter Souza, he was my teammate all this year for the Monster Jam Arena Series East Tour. He decided after first quarter that it was time for him to step away. He was really missing home and stuff, and he wanted to, go do some different stuff. I mean, he's working with his dad's construction business, and it looks like he's doing really good for himself. So, I'm sure he'll be coming in and out, flying in and out, doing some, like fill-in driving and stuff for us in the future. But it's I'm happy for him. He seems like he's a whole lot more happy, and he's enjoying himself. So the best of luck to him. I love that guy.
All right. And how about Bailey Shea? Any update on her?
Honestly, I think she just decided that she wanted to be at home with her son Huck. Huck is that guy he is hilarious. I love that kid. But I don't really have that much information on it. But as far as I understand, it's just it was a decision that she made, and she wanted to be at home with her family, and she's getting married here shortly. So it's awesome for her.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. It's the toughest part about doing what we do is being away from our families and our friends. Well, let's get to the action you'll see on the track. You guys will be up against Brandon Vincent in Gravedigger, Ashley Sanford in Megalodon, Tony Oaks in Thunderoris, as well as your two new teammates. So let's talk about those three names here. First of all, Devin, as a rookie in Monster Jam, you get set up against a four-time series champion, a former world champion. So right out the gate, no easy task for you, besides having a lineup with your teammate over here. But what are your thoughts on competing against Brandon every night?
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I've only done as a tech official actually 2 shows with him, but he's always been really cool to me. Looked up to him too. I know he came up as a crew chief, and that's something I admire a lot because he had to work for what he has. I'm pretty excited for it.
And Dalton, you had Weston Anderson, who has gone on this unbelievable 2-year tear in Monster Jam. You were very competitive against him, ended up finishing in third on your series, as I mentioned. So now you move over next to Brandon Vincent. So it's this Gravedigger family of champions continues to roll through Monster Jam. So what do you think your chances are against Brandon as far as the series championship goes?
Honestly, I've never run a show with him. I've never done an event with him, so I have no idea. But I will tell you, I ain't scared. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. The Gravedigger guys, they're always hard to beat. They're the best at what they do. Each one of them has their own little specialties. I've watched a couple of events with Brandon. He's a former World Finals racing champion. That guy's fast. Racing's what I really enjoy. So I'm gonna be excited to line up with racing world finals champion and see how I stack up.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that you still kind of fly under the radar a little bit, but I think that ends in 2024. I think now you've put yourself out there. There's expectations on you. What would it mean to you to, as an independent driver, to bring a series championship home to Team Throttle Monster?
Man, it would be amazing if I could do that. I mean, that's definitely what I'm going for. I ain't backing down an ounce this year. There was a lot of times on the East Tour this year where I was like, man, I'm already in third, and is it worth it for me to go out there and flip? Is it worth it for me to go, cause all this extra work? There's none of that. It's all out the window. I am driving this thing into the ground every single time it hits the track. I don't care what happens. We got full permission from Mike and Paul. We're going to beat these things into the ground. And if I end up with the series championship, that's amazing. If I don't, they're going to have to fight me to get to it.
Yeah, I think the answer always to that question now has to be yes. If I have to call Paul and Mike myself and let them know that the answer is yes, I'll do that. But I love that attitude. Devin, your obviously goal maybe to compete for Rookie of the Year. You're going up against the current co-Rookie of the Year, Ashley Sanford and Megalodon, who had a phenomenal season. And I think when it comes to Ashley, not only does she bring competitive elements to the track, but she took this entertainer thing to another level and got nominated for that award as well. So what have you seen out of Ashley Sanford to make you want to elevate your game to be able to compete with her every night?
Ashley's really, really good with interacting with people and all the fans. It's a funny story. We actually auditioned together my very first time in Monster Jam with her. And then, coming to Team Throttle Monster and working with them on the West Tour the second half of the year, I saw Ashley quite a bit. And then I actually just ran my first show with her in Vancouver about 2 weeks ago. And it's really cool. The way she interacts with fans is unique, and she's very, very good at it. So I aspire to be that good with people. And I'm going to work really hard to go for that Rookie of the Year like she did. And I'm just excited to get everything rolling.
Well, Dalton will tell you, you got to actually, when the light goes green, you got to be able to perform. But, the fans are voting for some of these competitions. So when you have a microphone in front of you, that's your chance to try and win them over, whether it's 10 seconds or 15 seconds. But that's obviously now at this point, Dalton become a huge element of the event, right?
Yeah, 100%. Kind of getting over with the fans and getting them to be on your side is a big, big help. I'm going to be honest with you. It's still very important what you do on the track, but it can definitely help your scores in these fan judge competitions a lot if you can get these people behind you.
It also doesn't hurt when you're driving a 12,000-pound dinosaur either. That probably doesn't hurt at all. Let's talk about Tony Oaks, the longtime military veteran in Thunderoris. It's a guy that just 2 years ago was fighting tooth and nail with Kristen Anderson for a series champion and ended up losing it on the final day. So Tony, very competitive as a driver, very popular with fans. He has that military background. So what are your thoughts? And Devin, we'll start with you with lining up against Tony Oaks.
Yeah, that's something I've been really excited about since I heard about the tour in the first place. Tony actually used to be my manager for the Cedar Fair Parks when we did the ride truck. So I actually haven't seen him since 2019, but I'm excited to be able to be on tour with him and line up with him and, get advice from him and obviously compete against him. So we'll see how quickly I can learn and try to get across that line before he does.
All right, well, the tour begins. Arena Championship Series West will begin January 5th at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. So if you're talking about a storybook start to your career, Devin, on a championship series, you get to drive just a little bit down the road to Salt Lake City. How does it feel for both of you to be able to compete that first weekend in your home state in front of your hometown fans in Salt Lake City?
Well, man, I'm excited. I think the first year that I was here with Team Throttle Monster, actually going into my second year, the first year that I was running a team, I came and crewed for Tutal when he was here at the Delta Center, and I like that building. It's really cool. It looks like the dirt there is really nice. I really enjoy Utah. Honestly, it's pretty good. It's close second to Tennessee, but I'm just but it's a good place. I'm really excited. The fans, we've done a couple events here in Utah, and the fans here are really passionate. There's a lot of people that really, really enjoy monster trucks, so I'm excited to come out here and compete with them.
Yeah, it's a great venue. It was my first television venue for NBC back in 2019. So I love the Delta Center, the Vivid Smart Home Arena, whatever you want to call it, is home to Monster Jam. Coming up next, your fan questions to Dalton and Devin. Stick around. We'll be back with more Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. I'm Scott Jordan. This week, I'm joined by Team Throttle Monsters Devin, Winfield, and Dalton Widner as we preview Arena Championship Series West. As I mentioned, it kicks off January 5th at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Get your tickets at monsterjam.com. All right, guys, on this tour, you get both Fargo and Tacoma. They have bigger tracks than normal arena shows. This comes from Monster Jam King 29. How do you plan to attack the larger arena floors?
For me, I think the layout of those floors are pretty similar to a place like Salinas, California, and a couple other, or like Calgary as well. They're a little bit bigger, but they have kind of the same layout. So, you know, I'm experienced on those tracks. Actually, this year I went to the final round with Tyler Menega in Salinas, California, and lost it because the blower belt broke. But you know, I've got some experience on those tracks, so I'm excited for it. I love those places. I think I went to Tacoma one year watching Monster Jam there. Fargo, I've heard, is extremely cold, but it's a really good place for monster trucks. So I'm excited.
Devin, you get those two tracks in your rookie season, so a little bit more of a layout. You're going to have to follow him around this time.
Yeah, that's right. I've obviously been there as a tech official. I was on the Arena Tour, West Tour in 2019. And I went to both of those places, and I remember sitting in the stand staging trucks thinking, man, I would really love to be here driving a truck. And now I get the opportunity to, so I'm really excited. I don't know what to expect yet. I'm excited for the racing for the most part, and, you know, to be able to stretch your legs a little bit and not have to worry about boundaries so much as you would in a normal arena, I guess you could say. But I'm just really excited to get out there with Dalton and see what this blue Velociraptor can do.
All right, Mike Trapper 04, Ryan Nielsen 23 have similar questions. They both want to know who is the biggest target on the tour and who do you believe is the biggest threat of taking the series championship?
I think it's probably Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger. I mean, that's normally the way it is. The biggest target's going to be the Gravedigger of the tour. But Brandon Vincent being a former World Finals racing champion, you know, that's a big target on your back. Everybody's going to want to beat him in racing. And, you know, he is, I can't remember how many times he's won a series tour, but it seems like every year.
Times, yeah,
and, you know, he's definitely going to be the number one guy we're trying to knock out if we can.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. I wish you nothing but the best in 2024. Looking forward to seeing you down the road. That is it. Dalton Widner, Devin Winfield. You can catch them on Arena Championship Series West with Team Throttle Monster. As for me, you can catch me right here next week on Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil.